What is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? The NBA season is right around the corner. Everybody's coming out with their predictions, their takes for the 2022 season. So I want to do 10 bold, hot takes that probably won't happen. Maybe 1, 2, 3 of them might, but all 10 probably not. And come out with you guys with a list. So yeah, I have 10 takes that I think could possibly happen this year. Are all 10 gonna happen? No. Is 5 gonna happen? Probably not. I think I may get like 2 or 3 right out of these 10. Some are very hot takes that are probably not gonna happen. Some are a little bit more on the realistic side. But this is just for fun. I'm gonna look back at it at the end of the season and be like, oh, I predicted that. Or, wow, why was I thinking that? So if you guys enjoy these videos, feel free to drop a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And let me know down below what you agree with, disagree with, or maybe any of your hot takes this season. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first hot take I have for the 2022 season is that the Knicks will make it further than the Chicago Bulls and Philadelphia 76ers. Yes, I know, call me biased for what you want, but the Sixers might not be as good as they were last year, especially all the drama centered around Ben Simmons. Will he even play a game for the Sixers this year? And if he does, when will he be traded? It's looking like there's still a 85% chance he's going to get traded this year. And the Sixers aren't getting a Bradley Beal or Damian Lillard, so most likely for whatever they give him up for, they're going to get a little bit worse, unless they end up getting a De'Aaron Fox, which could definitely still happen. But either way, I think the Sixers aren't going to be as good this year as they were last year. And for the Chicago Bulls, I think that they will make the playoffs. Either it's in the play-in tournament or maybe the 6th seed or something like that. But either way, I think they will be a first-round exit. And I'm predicting the Knicks are going to win a playoff series this year. Yes, I think they're going to end up being the 3, the 4, or the 5 seed, or maybe even the 6 seed. And I think they would match up well with any of those teams that they'd be facing in round 1. Yes, the Miami Heat would be favorited. Yes, the Atlanta Hawks would be favorited, or the Chicago Bulls, or the Boston Celtics. I just think the Knicks got better in the offseason, adding Kemba Walker, adding Evan Fournier. I think young guys like RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Emmanuel Quickley, Obi Toppin are going to be better next year, as well as the veterans such as Alec Burks, Derrick Rose, and Julius Randle. And the Knicks just have a ton of depth this year. They can make a trade at the deadline. They still have multiple draft picks. And that is my first hot take. My hot take number 2 is I think that the Pacers will be trading one of their starters this season. So one of either Malcolm Brogdon, Caris LeVert, TJ Warren, Domantas Sabonis, or Miles Turner. TJ Warren might be the most likely one because he will be a free agent at the end of the season, or they might pull off a big move in trading Malcolm Brogdon or Domantas Sabonis or even Miles Turner, who knows. I think most likely the player that is safe on that is probably Domantas Sabonis and Caris LeVert, so I think it's going to be one of the 3 that I didn't mention. This could be if the Pacers are maybe hovering around 500 at the deadline and realizing that they can get good value for a Turner, Brogdon, or Warren. Or when it comes down to TJ Warren, maybe they're just not going to give him 15 to 20 mil that he might be asking for in free agency, and they're going to look to just trade him for maybe a first-round pick or a young player. Next up, we have that Kevin Durant is going to be the 2022 most valuable player. Yes, I wouldn't say he's one of the favorites right now. I think Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, and Giannis Antetokounmpo are all favorited in the MVP race ahead of KD. But I think if Kyrie Irving will not be playing due to the unvaccination status, that is just going to open up a bigger narrative story for Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets this season. This could also go for James Harden as well. But if the Nets are without Kyrie Irving and they're still a 1 or the 2 seed, we know that Kevin Durant's going to be putting up 28 points a night on crazy efficiency, and I think he's going to be one of the front runners for the MVP, and it really all comes down to a narrative story. Each year, there's a narrative around the MVP. Jokic last year, the big narrative was that he led the Nuggets to the 3 seed without Jamal Murray. Year prior was with Giannis and him being the top defender in the league as well, and I think this year, it's going to be with all the drama centered around Brooklyn. KD is still going to dominate the league, and the Nets are still going to be a top seed in the Eastern Conference. Hot take number 4, this is going to be Pop's last season as a head coach in the NBA. I know, sad boy hours. It will be Pop's last year. I think the Spurs are not going to be very good. I don't think they're going to sniff the play-in tournament team, but hey, they're always sneaky good in the league, but they lost DeMar DeRozan this offseason, so they should get worse. Because I don't think Joshua Primo, and even if Keldon Johnson or Devin Vassell take a nice jump this year, I don't think they're going to be in the play-in tournament. The West is too competitive. And I think Pop's going to realize at the end of the year, his time is done in the league. Someone is going to be his successor. Either it's going to be maybe Will Hardy, Becky Hammond, Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan. I don't know, but either way, this will be Pop's last year as a San Antonio Spurs head coach. Next hot take we have is that the Golden State Warriors will be in the play-in tournament. Yes, they will not be a top 6 seed in the Western Conference. I think their roster is a little bit funky at the moment because Klay Thompson will not be back till around Christmas, which is basically January. So that's the first 2 months of the 2022 season. They will be without their second best player, and they are going to have to rely on a lot of their young guys like Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, James Wiseman, Jordan Poole. These guys are going to have expanded and heavy relied on roles, and I don't know what is going to happen for the Warriors because maybe they can all ball out right away, and they'll be fine. They'll be a top 4 seed in the West. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to be hovering around 500 / that 7th or 8th seed until Klay gets back. And I don't think Klay's going to be Klay Thompson right away. It's going to take him some time to get readjusted to the league. It's going to be great for all his fans and Klay to be back, but he's not going to be 2019 Klay probably for another month into his season. And we've looked at rehab years of Gordon Hayward, Kristaps Porzingis. They were not very good in their years coming back from those major injuries. But hey, maybe Klay takes the KD route and is good right away. Hot take number 6 is that Evan Mobley is going to be the second best rookie this season. So I didn't predict Evan Mobley to win Rookie of the Year. That went to Jalen Green, which I still think is going to happen. But I think Evan Mobley is going to end up better than Cade Cunningham, better than Jalen Suggs or Scotty Barnes or any other rookie that was drafted in the 2021 draft. Because I think he's going to start for Cleveland. I don't think Larry Markkanen's taking that role at all. He's going to be a great playmaker, a great rebounder, a great defender, a great post-rim scorer, playing with Sexland, who I think is going to have great seasons in Garland and Sexton, and that is going to come back on Evan Mobley to have a great rookie year. I could see him averaging around 12 to 14 points, 8 to 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, 4 to 5 assists as a rookie, and being a very good defender on that side of the ball. Somebody that can guard guys on the perimeter, in the post, be able to switch, rim protect. He's going to be able to do it all eventually in his career, but I think he's going to show glimpses and flashes right away this year and will end up being the second best rookie and give Jalen Green a run for his money at the Rookie of the Year award. All right, so we have 4 hot takes left. The next one is going to be that the San Antonio Spurs will end up with the worst record in the NBA. Yes, it won't be the OKC Thunder. It won't be the Orlando Magic. It won't be the Detroit Pistons. It's going to be the San Antonio Spurs, and this one kind of gives a cause and effect to the Pop retiring. I just don't think the Spurs are going to be very good. I like DeJounte Murray. I like Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Lonnie Walker, Joshua Primo, Derek White. I just don't think that core gets it done. I think they're going to be neck and neck with the Thunder and Magic for the worst record in the league, and you could also throw in Detroit in there as well. And I think it's going to be a race throughout the season. The Spurs might not be the worst team in the league till March, but I think on the last day of the regular season, especially because they might just be one injury away to just being one of the worst rosters in the league, if Keldon Johnson or DeJounte Murray, and especially for Murray, who has had injury history, gets hurt, it's not going to look good for the San Antonio Spurs. So that is going to be one of my hot takes, that the Spurs, because I don't think a lot of people are thinking this, are going to end up with the worst record in the NBA. This one is an interesting one. I think it's going to be a crazy ride for the Brooklyn Nets this year, and I think that Steve Nash will get fired at the end of the season. So this hot take comes into maybe effect that if Kyrie Irving doesn't play, and Steve Nash doesn't handle it well, or the Nets don't make it to the NBA Finals or even the Conference Finals once again, because then Sean Marks, ownership, KD, they're going to look at this team and realize, all right, yeah, we're not going to be able to get there with Steve Nash. We maybe need a more veteran-minded head coach or just somebody with more experience, and I think they may use Steve Nash as an scapegoat if they don't win it all. Now, the Nets are favorited. Kyrie Irving or not, they're my favorite to win it all, and I think that they will. But I also think if there's that slight chance they get Milwaukee or Miami in round 2, and they somehow lose in 7 games, maybe somebody gets hurt, maybe Kyrie's not even playing due to the vaccination status, I don't know. I think they will use Steve Nash as the scapegoat, and he will get fired at the end of the 2022 season. So I think there is a chance if the Nets don't make it to the finals, or especially if they don't make it to the conference finals, Nash will be canned. So by the time you're seeing this video, this hot take could be wrong, but it is pretty much Ben Simmons is going to be a king this season. I don't know what the trade is going to look like. I don't know if it's going to be centered around Tyrese Halliburton or De'Aaron Fox or a Bagley, Hield, Barnes trio? I don't know, but I think that the Sacramento Kings are the most likely destination for Ben Simmons. Simmons has already came out, or his camp at least did, said he wouldn't mind a trade to Sacramento, and I think for the Kings, it makes a lot of sense. So the first trade that comes in mind that the Kings would want to do would probably be around Hield and Harrison Barnes. Now, I don't think Philadelphia would accept that. They would want one of either Tyrese Halliburton or De'Aaron Fox. So the Kings might go and look at a Tyrese Halliburton and Harrison Barnes trade, or Tyrese Halliburton and Buddy Hield trade, and the Sixers are going to be like, all right, Hield's a good shooter, Barnes is a good playmaker, we'd be fine with one of those veterans, as well as Halliburton has 3 years left on his rookie deal. He could do it all. He'd be a great, valuable piece in Philadelphia. Or the Sacramento Kings love Davion Mitchell, right? They could be like, he's our franchise point guard or our future point guard for the long term. Halliburton is the 2. We're fine with that. And both those guys are on their rookie contracts, which is super valuable. So we get to have those 2 guys keep Hield, keep Barnes, and do maybe a De'Aaron Fox for Ben Simmons and Maxey, or a Ben Simmons and Thibault trade. Now you might be like, Matt, what are you talking about? De'Aaron Fox is better than Ben Simmons, and I agree, I'm not saying Simmons is better, but for the Kings' perspective, hey, wouldn't you want to maybe just trade Fox? You don't have to move any of your veterans like Hield or Barnes. Maybe Bagley's got to be in the trade, but that isn't too big of a loss. So you move Fox, and you get Ben Simmons, who could be your power forward or even your small ball center, and you get to give more minutes to Mitchell and Halliburton, which you may be fine with, and you're adding a great defender, a great playmaker, a great ball handler in Ben Simmons. And you can maybe steal back a Tyrese Maxey for the bench, or a Matisse Thybulle for some perimeter defense. Now, I don't know if the Sixers would do Simmons and Thybulle for Fox. I doubt it. I think they would probably only want to do Maxey at the most, and they would want to keep Thybulle. So I think that's a little bit unrealistic. But I think Ben Simmons is going to be a king for one of those 3 packages that I mentioned. Either it's for the veterans, for Halliburton, or for Fox. And then finally, my biggest hot take apparently, because if you watched my season prediction video over on the main channel, I predicted that this team wasn't going to make the playoffs. And on Twitter, a lot of people were calling me dumb. A lot. So this is definitely an unpopular take. It's a hot take. The Boston Celtics will not make the playoffs in 2022. So I'm going to stand by this. I'm going to live and die by my initial gut feeling. I'm not going to let everybody persuade me. Is it looking good? Probably not, because Jason Tatum's going to be better. He's going to probably be in the MVP conversation. They're incredibly deep with Al Horford, Josh Richardson, Dennis Schroeder there now. They have a new head coach in Ime Udoka. Yeah, I don't feel very confident about this hot take, but it's definitely my biggest hot take on this video. So you might be like, Matt, who are the 8 teams that are going to be ahead of them? So basically, locks are the Milwaukee Bucks, the Miami Heat, and the Brooklyn Nets. I think those 3 teams are definitely going to be better than them. And I think the Philadelphia 76ers, Ben Simmons or not, can still end up better than the Boston Celtics. So I'm going to leave those 4 teams up there because the Sixers were the 1 seed last year. I'm not going to drop them off too far. So then there's basically 2 more playoff spots before we get into the play-in tournament. And the Celtics could definitely be the 5th or the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, but I'm predicting those will go to either 2 of these 4, the Indiana Pacers, the Atlanta Hawks, the Chicago Bulls, or the New York Knicks. And you might be like, Matt, really? Those teams over the Celtics? Hey, I'm not saying that it's definitely going to happen. I just think that there's a possible chance the Celtics could fall to the 7th or the 8th seed. I think that's a definitely possible situation. And then who knows with the play-in tournament. The Celtics might have an injury. They might have a COVID issue, but it looks like the Brown and Horford ones are already getting out of the way early. But either way, the play-in tournament could be a doozy, and the hypothetically Pacers and Bulls can get the last 2 playoff spots. And boom, the Celtics don't make the playoffs. I'm going to be laughing at all of you guys, but probably realistically, the Celtics are going to be the 3 seed. Tatum's going to be top 5 in MVP, and everyone's going to call me a dumbass. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. Did you like those takes? Did you disagree with them? I know you Celtics fans aren't going to be very happy. So yeah, hit me down below what you agree with, disagree with, or anything maybe I didn't mention that you think I should have. That's a kind of an obvious hot take that may be right. But yeah, if you did enjoy, I would appreciate it if you drop a thumbs up. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.